The difference between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow is the actions that you take today. Listen, I see it all the time. Josh, I want blank. Can you help me with XYZ? I would love to blank. Yet these same people who claim they want all these things sit in the same position stuck for months or years on end. There's no magic formula. It all comes down to this one concept. Are you a getter-doner? What's going on, everybody? For those of you that don't know me, I'm Josh Smith, aka the Dadtrepreneur, and over the last few years, I've been able to go from living in my in-laws' basement, barely able to support my family, to building my dream life and dream business with affiliate marketing. My channel is all about helping you create that same lifestyle of wealth and freedom. So if you're into that, I'm gonna need you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications, because in today's video, I am going to reveal a sneaky, simple concept that has drastically altered the course of my entire life and business. So it all started back in May of 2022, where I was lucky enough to deliver a keynote presentation to a mansion full of 60 entrepreneurs looking to launch their online businesses. Now, 60 might not seem like a lot, but keep in mind, each individual there paid upwards of $5,000 to be in attendance at that event. And the person that spoke before me said something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. He said that most of your success comes down to, are you being a getter-doner? And although he said it in a very lighthearted and joking posture, it really stuck with me. And I think it resonated so much with me because it's so true. At that time, I had done just over 100K in affiliate commissions. After leaving that mastermind and applying this getter-doner concept for just 60 days, I was able to generate my second $100,000 in affiliate commissions. And just 40 days later, another 100K. The results of this concept compounded or snowballed into massive results very quickly. Oddly enough, this concept was very similar to the presentation that I was delivering later that day. It's a concept I call my winning edge formula, and it's all about small daily steps adding up to massive results over time. But that's a video for another day. The craziest thing about all of this was I was there to deliver a presentation, and I learned so much more than I ever thought I was going to. The speaker went on to say getting unstuck comes down to one simple thing. Are you getting stuff done? It blew my mind because it's so simple yet so profound. Your business isn't growing? Well, what have you done to cause it to grow? Your relationships are stagnant? Well, what have you done to cause them to flourish? You see, most people only say they want something, and then they just sit around never getting the stuff done that will give them what it is they say they want. For example, we all know the person that says, I'd like to lose 15 or 20 pounds this year, only to run into them 2 days later stuffing their face with a Big Mac, large fry, and chocolate shake. Listen, I get it. Creating discipline in your life is hard. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But discipline and getting stuff done is how you actually move your life forward and achieve growth in your business. Stop delaying and thinking everything needs to be perfect, because I got some news for you. It never will be. And just when you think you perfected it, everything changes and you're back at square one. Perfection is just the enemy of progress anyway. Get it done dirty. Be messy. Just get it done. But Josh, I'm not motivated. How do I become a getter-doner? So if that's a question you're asking right now and you've been feeling kind of unmotivated lately, or you're just stuck and not really sure how or what to start getting done, then listen up. Because here's my list of tips to help you get stuff done and become a getter-doner. Tip number 1 is simple and straightforward. Do it now. Seriously, how often do you find yourself saying, I'll do that later, or I can get that done tomorrow, only to forget about that thing that you put off and it never ends up getting done? If you're anything like me, then it probably happens a lot more than you care to admit. At least that's how it used to be. Stop putting off till tomorrow what you can get done today. If you come up with something you'd like to get done, don't just think about it and say you'll get it done later. Stop everything and do it now. Or if it's truly not possible to stop what you're doing right now, or you have some thought or idea that you need to act on later, stop everything you're doing, write yourself a quick note, and maybe even set an alarm for later when you have free time so you can come back to it and you don't forget. I set a ton of alarms and it drives my wife nuts. This takes some practice, and there may not always be big things for you to accomplish right now, so start small. This could literally start with something like the dishes. Most people hate doing dishes, but guess what? Here's how you have clean dishes all the time. Rather than putting off the dishes till later and letting them pile up in the sink, after each time you eat a meal or prep some food, rinse and scrub those dishes immediately and put them in the dishwasher. Now, this doesn't seem like much, but if you do this with 3 or 4 different areas of your life and not just the dishes, the stress, clutter, and overwhelm in your life will quickly start to disappear. Not to mention, your life will just operate a heck of a lot smoother. Which leads me directly into tip number 2, small, actionable steps. And this is where most people get it wrong. They focus only on the big picture and get overwhelmed. They set some big goal of making 6 figures in their first year with a side hustle. Yet, they've never made a dime online before, and more importantly, they don't know the steps to take to get to that goal. This is going to seem like a huge goal. And don't get me wrong, setting big goals is great. Heck, mine for this year is to have my first $1 million year. But if you focus on the end goal only, your subconscious and limiting beliefs will kick in and give you every excuse, talking you out of taking action, most likely resulting in never even starting to pursue the goal in the first place. So here's what you're gonna do instead. Reverse engineer that goal and focus on the small, actionable steps that you can take every single day that will add up to that big goal over time. Then get those steps done, day in and day out. Accomplishing massive things is a direct result of the small actions you take every single day. Now, if you don't know what steps to take exactly, or maybe you even want to start your first online business and you're not sure where to begin, I'll leave a special link down in the description to the 15-day online business builder challenge. So you can learn the exact path to take in a step-by-step training that will take you from no business to business in just 2 weeks. It's where I got my start, and I highly recommend it to help kickstart you in the right direction. By breaking your big goal down into small daily goals, you are way more likely to achieve that goal in the long term. These small wins will feed your subconscious dopamine every single time you achieve one. Dopamine is simply the chemical that's released in our brain that makes you feel good. By getting those little wins daily, you'll start to build momentum and crave those dopamine hits, which will cause you to go out there and get more wins. It won't seem like much in each moment, but do this for 6 months to a year and you won't only hit your big picture goals, you'll smash through them with ease. Okay, so you're focusing on doing it now and you've set small actionable goals, but you're still struggling a little bit with motivation in really getting stuff done. Then you might drastically benefit from tip number 3, which is a psychological hack. You're going to trick yourself using external motivation. This is pretty much just a fancy way of saying rewarding yourself for the good work you've done. And this is actually a sneaky psychological hack that has been used by high achievers for centuries to help them become more productive. Well, you might say that sounds pretty basic, but if you stay with me here, I'm going to show you why this actually works like a charm. So I used to struggle with video game addiction. Yes, video games. Believe it or not, video game addiction is a real thing that affects millions and millions of people worldwide, and there's more and more research coming out every single year about the damaging effects of video games. The point I want to share is to motivate myself to work on my business instead of playing video games. I actually used playing video games as a reward. I wanted to play video games so badly that I told myself if I did just one thing towards building my business, then I could reward myself by playing a round of Clash on my phone. And it worked. I got one thing done, then played a round of Clash. Then I wanted to play more Clash, so I got another thing done first. Then after a while, I started doing 2 things towards building my business before I would play 1 round of Clash. Then I moved into getting my whole to-do list done before any video games. This created enough self-discipline that I ended up giving up video games altogether. And even crazier, I had no desire to play them anymore. Here's the main point and where the psychology comes in. If you are lacking motivation and you have something that constantly distracts you from working on your goals and dreams, instead of fighting it, strategically use it to your benefit. Use that thing as your external motivation or reward for working on your goals. Simply start by putting 3 things on your to-do list that will help you move towards building your business or achieving your goals. From there, do the first item. After that, reward yourself for a job well done. Then simply move to the next item and repeat the process until all items are done. By doing this, you're programming your subconscious to feel good for completing those tasks. You'll actually trick your mind into associating that good feeling with the task completed, not the reward. And eventually, you don't even need the reward, you just need the feeling of completing that task. Works like a charm. Quick little disclaimer / side note here for you all. If you struggle with alcohol or drug abuse, please, please, please do not reward yourself with those things. I am not advocating this as a cure for addiction. If you struggle with those type of addictions, please seek professional help. This is simply a hack for getting you more motivated to work on your business. Or rewarding yourself with something like a piece of chocolate or candy works just as well. Remember, change and progress won't happen overnight, but it does happen by getting things done today, then getting things done tomorrow, then the next day, and the next. Don't be a talker and a dreamer. Instead, it's time to start being a getter-doner. So go out there and start taking action on your goals today.